Welcome to ePathshala lecture series on computer science. We are discussing on the paper of cryptography and network security. In this session, we are going to discuss about security attacks. So, in this model, to discuss about the concept of attacks in network security, to know about various web attacks, and also we are going to understand the social engineering and its vulnerabilities, and finally, we are going to discuss about the protection mechanism, how to overcome this kind of attacks in your day to day life. So, we all know very well security is one of the important component of any activity with respect to our computer. So, here to increase the reliance of information technology with or without the use of networks, the use of IT has changed our life drastically. So, we are mainly depend on email, internet banking and several other activity of your IT. And also increase some of the e-commerce and World Wide Web vast repository of various kind of information. Example like immigration database, flight tickets, stock marketing. So, what is an attack? Security attack here is an action that compromise the security of information. Any activity, anything if they want to compromise and also try to steal the information, then we can say that is a security attack. A mechanism that is designed to defect, prevent or recover from the attack. So, once there is an attack, we cannot say any system is going to be 100% secure. So, definitely there will be always a security attack in the system. Only thing is we need to go for some kind of mechanism to state that even in the presence of an attack, the system is withstand the kind of attacks. A service that enhance the security of data processing and information transfer and also makes use of one or more security mechanism. So, the services is comprised of mechanism. The mechanism is mainly to provide protection against the attacks. So, in order to design a complete secured environment, definitely we should have a knowledge of attack. Without having a knowledge of attack, I am going to say that my system is secure, then it is very difficult for you to withstand any kind of attacks. So, in order to understand the attack, we know very well there will be a normal flow and here is an interruption where I am stopping the process. A legitimate user, suppose he is an user, he want to access, he may not able to access the particular, so I am interrupting. Interception is I am stealing the, I am not doing anything, just stealing the information over the internet. Modification, I do some modification before sending to the receiver. Fabrication, where I do interpret or impersonate that I am the particular user. So, these are different way our system may be in attack. Either we can say we may be directly getting some fabrication like your malicious software is going to be injecting in your system, or during some transaction something is going to be modified, or somebody is there in your network keep on watching what is the thing is going to be happening, and somebody is attacking your server, not allowing the server to providing service to any kind of user. Interruption. So, interruption, the attack on availability, as we know the 3 letter where we say CIA. So, interruption is trying to attack on availability of your system. Interception is the attack on confidentiality. So, here we can see that interception, whatever the content goes, we try to attack on confidentiality. Modification, attack on integrity. Fabrication, this is an attack on authenticity. That means just saying that I am the A, I am the B, that way I am just going to say that modification over the authenticity. So, majorly we have 2 categories, we say passive attack and active attack. The passive attack, no modification of content or fabrication, that means the passive attacker only monitor the traffic. That means they will see the pattern, they see the traffic flow, they never do any modification, just they will gather all the information over your network. Active attacker modify the content and participate in the communication, where the impersonate legitimate party, that means playing a role of others and saying that I am the legitimate user, and modification of content in the transmission, and also launching of denial of service attack, one of the popular attack to interrupt the services. So, here the passive category and active category. Among these, the passive are most dangerous, because this active attacker we can able to identify something is going to happen, something is happening in your system, but in a passive attack we cannot able to judge what is happening, because a person can simply stealing and also gathering the information without affecting the normal operation of your system. So, we all know we need to provide us services. The security services is a service provided by the protocol of layer of community system X.800. We have 5 category of services. Authentication will verify the user, access control, restricting the user to unauthorized access, data confidentiality, unreadable format where you cannot read the content, integrity, verifying the modification of data during the transmission or modification of storage, non-repudiation where cheating or some kind of impersonating of a person, and availability to provide the data even the presence of attack. So, first we will see the web attack. Suppose a website, I think this web attack where it is dealing with a website, what kind of attack? Attacker can break into a legitimate website and post malware. So, we can able to see when we are trying to load a web page, instead of loading of the page, along with that the malware, malicious software, malware means malicious software, where it try to enter into your malware is no longer exclusive to malicious website. Today it is a common place of legitimate mainstream websites to act as the parasite host that serve up malware to unsuspecting visitors. So, it is like a parasite, it is hosting to the server, and malware contents are going to be entering your system. The second thing is attacking end user machine. So, web attack we can categorize as 3. Attacking end user machine, malware on a website make its way to down to the machine. Whenever we visit the particular page, it will get into your, when the user visit the host website is started, and drive by download, that happens automatically with no user interaction. It automatically pop up lots of windows. That is why most of the browsers never allow to pop the message content, because without our involvement it started to download and install your system. Additional techniques which do not require some input from the user, but practically equal if not more so effective. Leveraging end user machine for malicious activity, that means they are taking control of your machine. So, most of the malicious begins once a new malware is established presence on your machine. That means your machine will be an attacker, they will turn your machine into an attacker machine and started to send a malicious code from your machine to others machine. So, this is we can able to with respect to your web attacks. So, here we can able to see this from this figure. I have a website, normal user. So, here we can able to see an attacker inject his code into the website, and whenever a user trying to access the particular page without his knowledge, a malware is going to be injected in your user machine. So, here is it done automatically, you are not going to get, and you can able to see that it is going to be a parasite where it is going to be sitting along with the page what you are requested. So, user interaction required here one way, the other way is directly without your interaction it is trying to get into the system. So, how does a malware makes its way to your website? So, this is the way, first one, and second one, how does malware makes its way onto your user machine, and once the user machine what does the malware do? So, it is successfully launched. So, now it started to getting the control of your system. How do websites get infected? It used to be a malware was only an illicit site such as adult material and pirated softwares. So, here the targeted user looks with the short term needs and they try to inject their malware content. Today legitimate and mainstream websites are targets where the complexity of website, that is a combination of many different web content source and dynamically constructed using many different scripting technology, plugin and other database. So, it is easy for an attacker, they can get a control either, as we know very well, when a website is going to be providing a content, it is not just a page, it is going to be getting into your system or the browser, it is going to have a different scripts as well as different plugins and different databases. So, we can understand the complexity of website, it creates a way for an attacker entering into your system. In addition, we have web advertisement, where usually a third party. So, how we are going to authenticate that particular third party? A web page can be having a content coming from 10 to 20 different domain. So, it is very difficult for you to filter which contents are eligible or which content are not infected. It is very difficult to differentiate, that is what web advertisement. How are legitimate websites are compromised? Suppose I believe that I am a user, I want to create my own website. When I am creating one website, there are certain things we need to consider to protect our content from the external attacker. I am not talking in point of user point of view, I am talking with the case of your server. I want to design my own website. So, what are the kind of attacks I am going to face here is, the first thing comes as your SQL injection attack. So, what is this SQL injection attack? What they will do with respect to your SQL injection? They try to access unauthorizedly into your database. Suppose I have a database which is providing a user information in your website, an attacker can inject a code in the script what you are used in your website, they try to get a control of your database. So, they will try a flaw in your website that have a database running behind them. So, first thing they will check whether your site is under SQL injection, they will verify, they will scan and they will keep accessing and they will understand a poorly validated input data. Suppose I am not properly validating, each and every input from the user must be validated properly, kind of some additional information. A poorly validated input in your website allow a attacker to insert additional SQL instructions. That means they can directly write a SQL query in your URL that execute in your server, and it started to collect the information whatever the needed by the attacker. And also there is a way where they can have a Trojan, that is a kind of a virus. A Trojan horse as a virus which can infect into your iframe tag. They can able to provide in the iframe one of the HTML content tag where they can inject a Trojan horse, they can try to steal your database content. And also we can have a malicious advertisement. So, as you know, many websites today displaying advertisement hosted by third party advertisement, try to avoid clicking on the particular advertisement. So, because these kind of advertisement they try to take you to an unknown no man's land and they try to steal your information, try to avoid clicking of the particular advertisements. So, volume of advertisements published automatically makes detection difficult, which is legitimate advertisement, which is an illegitimate advertisement. It is very difficult to differentiate the category of advertisement. So, this can create a injection of your malicious code into your network, into your system. Random appearance of further components that detects, and search engine result redirects, always keen watching over your URL, because the search engine sometimes it may results, if I click on the particular URL, it may redirect to some other unwanted site where they can able to divert your concentration. So, search engine result redirection, attack on the backend virtual host companies where they can try to directly into a virtual hosting. Suppose the most of the web provider, they will provide a virtual hosting where they can try to attack on the backend of your virtual hosting, and also they can modify your website content. Vulnerabilities in the websites or a forum hosting where they can get your control, and other thing is cross site scripting, usually we call SXSS. XSS scripting, where they can try to inject their, suppose I am designing a website with JavaScript, they can able to inject their own code, and that information can be executed whenever you try to load a particular page, it say your website is under attack. So these are the way how a legitimate website, legitimate means a good website, is compromised. One is SQL injection, another one is malicious advertisement, and also some other way they can redirect your site with the result of your search engine, and also XSS cross scripting. So try to look into your site whenever you are going to design, and also try to avoid such a vulnerabilities in your websites. So here we can able to see the way so far we discussed, it is represented in a diagram, where you can able to understand that how getting onto your user computer, hacker insert a malicious URL. Suppose I am designed a good website, the web user visits a good website, he insert a malicious URL which will be redirected to some other bad website, the user is redirected to a bad website, and the bad website sends an obscure exploits of vulnerabilities at the user end. So you can able to see again this way they can able to inject, and malicious that is your malware installed without a user noticing, it get executed in your PC, and also here finally the malware sends private data to the hacker. Suppose now what happens here is, we can see the flow as a normal user, where I want to access always this particular website, I am a normal user, but what happens is when an attacker is compromising this website, he try to redirect your control from this laptop to this server to this particular bad website, and it started injecting, and now what happens is finally we are the victim, where it collecting the sensitive information or private data from your laptop or PC without the knowledge of the user, it started to sending that information to the attacker. So this is the way where the user can compromise a website and try to steal your user content. So always check with your URL, always check with your pages which are going to be used in your site. So automatic attack exposure, the technique that is used to deliver malware from website to the user, where the exposure of browsing a website, no user interaction is required, execute the content automatically that get downloaded whenever you try to click unwanted region of your websites. So this is what the typical sequence of an event. For example, I suppose I clicked a particular link where the malware is get into my system, the attacker compromise a good website, visiting the website, redirecting the bad, and corrupt code is downloaded and installed on the PC, corrupt software take control of your system. So attacker toolkit, where we have some of the attacker toolkit like profiling the victim, that is based on the specific operating system. So usually we say that in general the Windows operating systems are more vulnerable when compared to your Linux, where it has more vulnerability opening for an attacker to enter into a system. So always whenever I have a Windows operating system, try to have your version to be upgraded, and also regular update of your operating system will help to prevent against such a kind of attack. And also the kind of browser what you are going to use also, they can able to profiling the victim, and timing the attacks only once every hour, that way they can execute an attack. And geographical variance, the region attack on the user, selective use of vulnerability based on the protection of user, random attack, no pattern, no reason, also unpredictable. This is very difficult how to prevent such a kind of an attack. So these are some of the attack toolkits where the attacker try to get the control of your system. Click jacking, the click of link executes the attacker code, often leads to a person to a malicious website. So thousands of times every day. In 2008 there we can see 18 million infection attempts, and continues to increase the attacks. Next comes our social engineering, where it is very important of nowadays, where most of us spend our time with social websites like our Facebook and WhatsApp. So such a kind of thing, what attacks are trying to happen in the case of your social engineering. The people are tricked into performing an action they won't not otherwise they perform. So here you can see again the same, the attacker inserts the fake code Trojan on the website or peer-to-peer site or sites and malware, where it is going to be visiting a good website and redirect to the bad website, again the same way are collecting the private information. So, what are the kinds of attack they will be executed in the case of your social engineering is fake Kodak. For example, when I try to open a website, they will say this page will be visible, this part of your website web page will be visible when you are trying to install some kind of Kodak. For example, I want to load a PDF, then the web browser must have a Kodak of PDF or some kind of MP3 player, FLV, like that. They are the place where they can try to inject a fake Kodak. And also malicious peer-to-peer file. Suppose I am going to download a movie with the help of BitTorrent or torrent files where there is a peer-to-peer accessing of file. This is the place where more kind of malicious content are going to be injected in the case of your peer-to-peer. And malicious advertisement, fake scanner web pages, blog spam and other attack where it is going to be happening in the case of your social engineering. So, whenever you are going to be having a piece of information related to such a kind of activity, try to avoid it. That will be helpful to protect against such a kind of an attack. So, here we can see some of the suppose I am going for a streaming of a video, I want to view the video content. Here the user is prompt some blocking something, it is going to be blocked, the pop-up blocker by the browser, but still we can see we try to go for clicking of always allow. For example, the user is prompt to install a missing Kodak. For example, I have a video file is going to be there, it says that something is missing, you try to install. So, here the Kodak is nothing but a coder and decoder where it is used for streaming of video audio content. This Kodak is usually a malware code where it is usually having a Trojan horse. The Trojan horse is a kind of a virus where it get infecting your system. So, whenever I say allow this particular Kodak, then automatically this get infected with your system, and also we have to avoid such a information. And malicious peer-to-peer files where malicious author binds the content into a popular applications. For example, I say some software, Windows is the pirated version of Windows are available where you can able to click it, we can download it. Such a name, such a celebrities where the file name is given, we are always eager to open the particular content. Suppose even through a email, somebody is sending you some kind of document where it says that okay, you own the price of 1 million, 1 billion, that way they will send some message. You should not open that kind of information. Once it is open, automatically that is going to be downloaded and it is going to be infected. And also upload to a popular P2P site which they were downloaded by unsuspecting users. So, I try to inject my code and I say okay, that movie is going to be downloaded, it is going to be available in this particular site. We started to clicking on the particular movie file, but background it is going to be downloaded by where the user is unable to suspect such things are going to be injected. And openly available how to material on the internet. So, detail how to build and distribute the malware and also pay per install malware where you can have the right. And malicious advertisement, a malware author advise their fake Kodak to unsuspecting users. So, using a legitimate advertising channel, I try to inject my Kodak where the sponsor link point to the page marked as a legitimate download of official version of software, but we do not know where exactly whether it is going to be infected or uninfected file. So, advertising provider have taken a notice, but it is difficult to mitigate owing the volume because it is having more number of advertising content are going to be available on the page. It is very difficult to mitigate whether it is going to be a legitimate user or not. And we have some kind of fake scanning web pages. So, when create a website or a product that misrepresent the truth, the JavaScript pops up notifying to fall, need to be installed the operating system updates. So, here usually we will get such a message. So, we have a warning here, it is giving a Microsoft Explorer by warning Windows 32 like some miser file which is virus infecting the .exe extensions is attempt to and private information of your thing. So, it is recommended you always go for cancelling that, otherwise it will be modifying your registry, that way it is going to be the tool to climb to scan for and remove the image etc. from the particular content. So, sometimes you may get the scanning, it is required for your system because it is more virus were present in your system, it is required that way pop-up message, try to avoid the pop-up messages. Other type of attacks vendor where you have spam is very one popular attack where tool where is email content link directing people to drive by download, scan or Kodak and malware site is going to be spam. Usually we can see in the email, and pirated software sites, the pirated version of software can build with a compromised solely Trojan horse. So, try to avoid the pirated softwares. So, once it is get to a system leading to a malware, misleading application, intentionally misinterpreting security issue, social engineering to entice the product purchase, and also malicious activity to prevent the user from navigating to legitimate antivirus vendor, prevent the itself from the being uninstalled, pop-up warning that system infect and it is the need to be purchased in order to clean the system. So, software protection, update and patch the software, get the latest OS and browser application patches, browser plugins, endpoint protection of the system, heuristic file protection, intrusion prevention system, behavior monitoring, and update the software prescription. There are around 70,000 virus variants are possibly in a week. So, we have to update our system. Some behavioral protection, being suspicious, avoid the things seem to be good to be true. Okay, use safe search functionality in the browser, adopt strong password, it is very important because anybody can brute force into your system. So, password policy, prevention is the key. So, reduce or eliminate the vulnerabilities, adopt the experience based on the technique, be proactive in the protecting mechanism, cheaper to prevent than repair the infected file. So, these are the way we can able to overcome various kind of attack. So, now we understood the concept of attacks in your internet as well as the network security, and also we have discussed about various web attacks, and also in addition social engineering causes of vulnerabilities, how these systems are going to be infected, and finally we concluded with various protection mechanisms are available to try to overcome with the protection mechanism and also make your system be safe and secure. Thank you.